So today we're going to be going through every single UFC champion's best win. So starting off in the heavyweight division, we're not going to be talking about John Jones because let's be honest, John Jones isn't the actual heavyweight champion. It is Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall's best win is against Volkov. Now, some people might say, what about Sergey Pavlovich? Some people might say, what about Curtis Blades? Curtis Blades beat Volkov, but Sergey Pavlovich beat Curtis Blades, but then Volkov beat Sergey Pavlovich. There's a lot of moving parts here, but not only the name value of Volkov, who's been a mainstay in the UFC's top 10 heavyweight division for a very long time now, the way Tom Aspinall beat Volkov, he destroyed Volkov on the feet, took him down, he had him busted up with an elbow, I think, with ground and pound, and then just straight armbarred him. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the submission he hit him with, and just smoked him. He smoked Volkov. Nobody else has done that. And since then, Volkov has went on to stop Jairzinho Rozenstruik in the first round. Really, really impressive. He subbed Tai Tuivasa, and he styled on Sergey Pavlovich when he fought him as well. So he's went on a streak, and really, he should have beat Ciryl Gane in his last fight. If we're being honest, those who know ball know that Volkov's ass punches in the third round to Ciryl Gane should have secured him the victory. There's another win he had. Romanov, is that right? He stopped him in the first round, I think. There's another win in there, and I'm pretty sure that's who it is. But yeah, Tom Aspinall's best win is easily Volkov in terms of name value and how he beat him. He absolutely smoked Volkov in there. I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch between the two, to be honest. I think Volkov definitely needs a win. I think an Almeida matchup for Volkov would be a pretty cool fight to see because Volkov's takedown defense has really improved, in my opinion. And I think Almeida, at a slight bit of pushback, you kind of see the guy crumble. Like when he wasn't able to ragdoll Curtis Blades again in the second round, completely fucking folded, compacted. And then whenever you've seen Sergey Spivak, now he is another guy that when the going gets tough, he kind of hides away, which is pretty crazy of me to say. I'm sat here in my room on a chair talking about these guys, and these guys are actually in there fighting, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say here. Sergey Spivak was able to put up a bit of resistance against Almeida, and that's the first time we've actually seen him overcome it. I thought when we seen Sergey Spivak start to kind of throw and land on Almeida and mix it in with a grappling with him, I thought, right, Almeida's going to cave here, but he didn't. But I think Volkov can definitely beat Almeida. I think Almeida won't be able to take down Volkov as easy as a lot of people think he would be able to. And on the feet, Volkov, one of the best strikers in the heavyweight division. Good kicks, extremely powerful. I think Almeida would really struggle in there. But back to what the video is about. Aspinall, his best win. Volkov, definitely. Moving on to the light heavyweight division. Look, it is Pereira. Some of these might be a bit obvious to some people. Some of them might not be. But yeah, Ankalaev's best win is definitely Pereira. If you're not going to say it's Pereira, who you're going to say it is? He drew with Jan Blachowicz, so can't count that. Alexander Rakic has one win in the last 4 years. How that guy's ranked inside the top 6 is crazy. I'm not going to be gaslit into people saying, but Rakic is so technical, man. He's one of the more technical light heavyweights. But what does that mean, he's technical? Is he winning fights? No, then move on. The guy's one win in 4 years, I'm pretty sure. That there isn't going to be his best win. It's obviously Pereira. Pereira is arguably a top 10 fighter of all time, in my opinion. A lot of people might disagree with me on that one, but I actually think the work he's done warrants it. I mean, he's got multiple title defenses. He's beaten 5 former UFC world champions: Adesanya, Strickland, Jan Blachowicz, Jamal Hill, and Yuri Prohaska. And I'm pretty sure he stopped all of them, didn't he? No, he didn't stop Jan Blachowicz. He's a 2-division world champion as well. Ankalaev looked really good in there. Pereira looked so slow in this matchup, and I know there is the norovirus and he hurt his hand, and that probably did play a factor in it, to be honest, but you can't take away from what Ankalaev was able to achieve in there. Ankalaev outstruck Alex Pereira. Facts. Now, like I said, it was a close fight, 3-2. Ankalaev definitely deserved to get his hand raised, in my opinion. I do think it comes down to round 3, if I remember correctly. And I know after the fight took place, a lot of people were saying, Pereira was robbed, man. They robbed Pereira. But whenever I was watching the fight, and Ankalaev was announced the winner, I was like, yeah, that's right. Like, if they had to give that belt to Pereira that night, I wouldn't have said it, obviously, because I want Pereira to win, but I would have been like, fuck, Ankalaev was a bit hard done by there. But really good fight. Pereira showed really good takedown defense. Ankalaev shot 12 takedowns, didn't secure a single one. But yeah, Ankalaev's best win is Pereira, obviously. Moving on to the middleweight division now. This might be one that a lot of people won't be agreeing with me on. I think DDP's best win is Robert Whittaker. Now, people might be saying, why? Robert Whittaker was only on a 1-fight win streak, beating Marvin Vettori going into this matchup. Before that, he lost to Adesanya in the rematch. Arguably could have won that fight. Go back and watch it. Very, very close. And some people might say, but DDP's beat the likes of Israel Adesanya and Sean Strickland. And I understand that in terms of name value. But nobody expected DDP to beat Robert Whittaker. Like, DDP, this might have been the biggest underdog win of the year, in my opinion. Like, nobody was picking DDP to win. I was one of those people. I was on TikTok saying that Robert Whittaker is going to make DDP look like a heavy bag in there. Whittaker was a massive, massive favourite going into this matchup. And it's not just the fact that DDP beat him, it's how he beat him. He absolutely dominated and finished Robert Whittaker. Now, you might say, well, he finished Israel Adesanya. Adesanya was on a losing streak when DDP fought him. You might say, what about Sean Strickland? The Apex Warrior. Coming off a good win over Adesanya. But I suppose you maybe could say Sean Strickland, but Whittaker's done a lot more throughout his career, in my opinion. And I just think the way he beat Whittaker and the fact that he was such a big underdog in it, and the performance, that performance against Whittaker, who does that to Robert Whittaker? Who does that? Now, people might say, well, look what Hamzat Chimaev done to him. And fair enough, but DDP isn't Hamzat, and Hamzat isn't DDP. That shit was so cool. But no, right enough, I think best win, people might say Strickland. I won't disagree with you. But what I think is definitely the Whittaker win. The fact he was a massive underdog, the fact and the way that he beat Robert Whittaker, really, really impressive. Moving on to welterweights, and this is obvious. It's obviously JDM's win over Bilal Muhammad. Look, I did predict JDM to win. When this fight got announced, I was probably the only person on the face of the earth predicting JDM to win. The amount of abuse I got in comment sections being like, JDM got taken down by Basil Hafez. JDM got taken down by Gilbert Burns, bro. And you don't think Bully B, remember the title reign, is going to be able to take him down? You have no idea. You're such a clown. And then whenever JDM beats him, everyone's like, oh, I knew it. I knew JDM was going to win. Shut the fuck up. No, you didn't. But yeah, Bilal Muhammad, JDM. Bilal Muhammad's on a crazy run. Beat Leon Edwards. Look, I am over the Leon Edwards hate. I bought a ticket at a very expensive price to go watch him versus Sean Brady, and I was extremely let down. I hated Leon Edwards. I thought I was going to hate him forever, but I'm over it. Leon Edwards is underrated in my opinion. I'm not going to get into that in this video because when I was making this for the champions, I thought there's actually a lot of underrated wins I want to talk about, so that might be its own separate video. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not the next day, but definitely in the future. So we'll talk about Leon Edwards in that video, I think. But yeah, back to this one right here. JDM beating Bilal Muhammad. Bilal was obviously the favourite going into this matchup, rightly so. We had seen JDM struggle with grapplers throughout his career. Bilal Muhammad, really good wrestling, really good cardio. But this fight kind of played out how I predicted it. If you go back and watch my predictions video, I literally said Bilal Muhammad will fall in love with the Canelo hands theory, that he's this really good striker and that he's going to outstrike JDM. And yes, he did try and take him down, but even Bilal Muhammad himself said the game plan was to out-grapple him, but he wanted to stand and strike with him. So he fell in love with the Canelo hands theory and got beat up. JDM beat him up 4-1 in my opinion. Really good performance. JDM looked really good. I'm looking forward to seeing him against Islam. I think he can beat Islam. I don't think he will beat Islam though. I think Islam is just a different level than what Bilal Muhammad is, and there is that same worry about JDM's grappling, and Islam Makhachev is easily the best grappler JDM will have ever been in there with. But JDM's best win, Bilal Muhammad. Really, really good performance from him in that matchup. Moving on to lightweight, I suppose you have to say Oliveira, right? But I kind of think it's the Volkanovski 1 win. Let me know in the comments below, do you agree with that or not? But I have put Charles Oliveira in here because he's a top 3 lightweight of all time. He was a defending champion. I know they stripped him because he missed weight against Gaethje. He was the champion, right? The champion has a name and it's Charles do Bronx. Right, anyway. On a crazy win streak, beating Kevin Lee, Tony Ferguson, Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler, Justin Gaethje. That's not in order, by the way, but those are just some of the names that he had beat on his way to becoming the champion and the names that he beat when he was champion. So I suppose you have to include Oliveira here. I suppose. But a part of me thinks it's Volkanovski won. Let me know in the comments below. Although I don't care to ever see these guys fight again. He got outstruck, out-grappled by Islam Makhachev. There's nothing I've seen in Oliveira's game since that makes me think he would have any more success this time around against Islam Makhachev. Don't care to see this rematch. Moving on to the featherweights. It's Volkanovski versus Max. Now, whatever win you want to have in there, I personally have 3. Obviously, Volkanovski Max 1 was close. Volk definitely won it though. Volkanovski versus Max 2, extremely close. Controversial decision. And then going into the third one, he just styled on Max Holloway. Let's just call it what it was. He absolutely smoked Max Holloway. And there's some people might say, what about Jose Aldo? That has to be Volk's best win. No. Aldo's not top 2 featherweight all time. Let's just be completely transparent with each other here. He's not top 10 all time either. Aldo's overrated. When he was in there with a guy that didn't have fucking... When Aldo was in there with a striker that had a jab, a 1-2, hooks, uppercuts and kicks available to him and wasn't behind a fucking paywall against some of the other striker guys that he's faced throughout his career, he got beat. McGregor, Volk, Max, twice. Anyway, back to this one right here. I'm very passionate about that Aldo's not top 10 shit. I fucking hate when people say it. He's not top 10. He's not the greatest featherweight of all time either. It's clearly Volk. But yeah, Volk versus Max 3. Dominant performance. Who's beat Max Holloway that dominantly? I know Toporia's knocked him out, etc., etc. But Volk absolutely dominated Max Holloway in there. That's Volk's best win in my opinion. Moving on, Merab's best win is against Petr Yan, in my opinion. Now, I know some people might say, but Yan lost to O'Malley, and etc, etc. Yan beat O'Malley. Yeah, let's cut the crap. Go back and watch that fight. Yan beat him. O'Malley had a really good performance, a really good account of himself. He lost. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. Right, but anyway. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did Merab beat Yan every single round in this fight? From memory, I know he absolutely beat the living piss out of Yan. He shot like 5,000 takedowns and secured like 2, typical Merab fashion. But to do that to Petr Yan is one of the most well-rounded fighters of all time. He really is. The guy can strike really well. The guy can grapple as well. Obviously the grappling may be like his biggest weakness, but it's not even really that much. It's not even that like a weakness. He's that good everywhere. Yan is so well rounded. It's crazy. It is crazy. And what Merab was able to do to him, shut him out on the feet. Obviously the fight that there was like 5,000 takedowns every 2 seconds being flung at Yan, and made him very hesitant to strike with and let his shots go in there against Merab. But the way Merab was able just to tee off on him on the feet, he beat him up. He beat up Petr Yan, dominated him, which is crazy to say. Great win. Merab's a top 10 fighter all time, by the way. Just quickly. And finally, Pantoja's best win is his trilogy against Brandon Moreno. Now, I know he fought him on The Ultimate Fighter, I believe, and then he fought him once before this. But Brandon Moreno, a defending champion, if I remember correctly, of the Flyweight title. He beat Davison Figueiredo, obviously, in their like trilogy, which was awesome. Or no, did they have 4 fights or 3? Can't remember, but they were like, it was like an awesome saga between Brandon Moreno and Davison Figueiredo. Figueiredo was one of the last people to beat Pantoja. It wasn't the last person to beat Pantoja. That was Askar Askarov, for those who know. For those who understand ball, they'll know him. What happened to him, by the way? Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, this was a really fun matchup. Really was. Close fight. Start of Pantoja's reign. I actually think when it's all said and done, Pantoja will be the greatest flyweight of all time. I do believe that. And this was a really good win. Let me know your opinions in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. and I'll see you again in the next one.